Some companies that have more sophisticated systems have more investment in systems, get them out quicker, right? So if you can get out within 10 business days, that would be great. Get them into your modeling or whatever, financial management software that you're using, and have your meeting by that, no later than the third week of the month, right? So that you have current information. So what we do is we start off with just doing a plan versus actual. And you'll see that I call it plan. Yes, we built budgets, but it's really the plan that I kind of like to highlight in this. Budget means, you know what, we did this last year. I think we can do this year. Let's build a budget around that. Then you do your actual versus budget. You go, oh, we guessed wrong. And so what do? You redo your budget.
Do you have a slide for this, just for the video? Or?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yes, just this right here.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, did.
Yeah. So it ends up being the tail wagging the dog. Oh, there you go. Right? A plan is, hey, I put a 3-year vision out here for my company, and I've built back to this year a plan of what I need to execute on in this year to put me in line for year 2 and in line for year 3. So it's the future pulling us forward. So I think it's actual versus plan. I think just psychologically is more impactful. Okay. So anyway, review plan versus actual at a company level. So that's income statement, balance sheet, and KPIs. Okay. Then we have plan versus actual at a profit center level. So I briefly put up on here this profit center model. So each profit center will have a dashboard, right, with its revenues and expenses. It'll have its own set of KPIs. I want to review that with each of the profit center managers. Of course, we're going to ask questions about anything that's off track. Now, in this section here, anything that you see that you have a question, this is the important part. Anything that you see in this section, these 2 sections here, if you've got a question, I want you to put it on the issues list. So this should sound familiar for the EOS fans in the room. You put it on the issues list. We don't discuss it yet. We don't discuss it yet. Next, you have your scorecard review. This scorecard for us is that one that I put up there that tracks the strategic initiative and how we're doing against that. If any issues come out of that, we put it on the issues list. So you'll see that down below item 6 is a thing called the issues list. Julie?
Yes.
Yeah. So why do we take all of these questions and move them to the issues list, do you think, based on EOS?
It's more efficient way to run the meeting.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we're like all over the place.
Yeah.
The meeting, you have a very concise agenda, and then an issue comes up, you drop it down, and then you allocate a certain amount of time.
Perfect. We have limited resources in our company, right? And we're measuring unutilized time in our labor capacity models and all that kind of stuff, right? So time really is profit, right? It is money. And so we want to be as efficient as possible during all of our meetings. So when we drop issues down, what we're saying is, hey, you know what? Our finance meeting is only going to go an hour and a half. And so once we have an issues list of everything that we've discovered on here, we're going to prioritize that issues list by importance. And then we're going to discuss the important issues first and solve for those first before we go on. Because a lot of times you could have something like some small thing pop up. There's our telephone bill is off this month, and you spend an hour talking about the negotiations with the phone company or something, right? Well, in the meantime, your margins have consistently been eroding over the last quarter. You don't even get to that because you were talking about a phone bill, right? So the idea is that you prioritize those issues, tackle the issues in order of priority and impact within a time frame that you allocate for that meeting. So that's just a little sampling of what EOS helps you with. Okay. Oh, and then the look forward. So after the scorecard review, we're always going to look forward, right? So what's happening this month? What's happening next month? What's happening at the end of this quarter? What's happening at the end of the year? If you've got that kind of vision, what do we need to be prepared for? What is our sales versus capacity? Are we prepared for that? Right? Is there some event coming up that we just want to be aware of that could impact us? So there's this look forward that happens there. After you do once you have your issues list, you process that, then you have communication. Then we cascade, right, down to our teams the information out of this monthly finance meeting to whoever needs to know it. And of course, get back to work at the end. All of that, I gave you kind of a write-up on this, on how we do that in here. Kind of explains it. So again, yeah. And again, so how many, just out of curiosity, how many in the group thought this was the best part of the whole presentation? I do have people that say that. It's like, okay, I guess I could skip 2 hours of this and you can just give you that. Okay, that's, I mean, for the, we're at our time. So are there any last questions that anybody has?
What's the lowest risk multiplier you see?
Oh, yeah, oh, okay, oh, that's a great question. So I have a client that I went in, he was at 0.25 to 1. 0.25 to 1, which means he has all his cash, a little bit of accounts receivable, no debt. It's actually an insurance processing company. And to me, that is almost as bad as a company that's leveraged at 7 to 1. He should really be at 2 to 1.
That was his risk multiplier? Was 0.25?
Yeah. Are you talking about the
value
leverage?
builder. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. The value builder.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about leverage.
Yeah. What's the lowest risk multiplier from the value builder?
From value builder, 1, probably. Well, actually, no, I take that back. That's of the ones that can be calculated.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for
There's somewhere it can't calculate a risk multiplier.
Because unsure was one of the answers on all of these, so if you were unsure.
If you're unsure and you've taken consistent growing losses over time, there's no multiplier to that.
What do you think?
You're basically whatever's on your balance sheet is what you got.
I'm interested in trying it.
Yeah. So I'm going to send out to you a link to the value builder. You can take it so that you can do it on your own company. After you do your strategic planning, if you want to rerun the value builder to see what it looks like, what if, then just let us know and we'll give you the opportunity to go back in and retake it again. I'm going to send you the KPI worksheet. I'm going to send you the KPI trended worksheet. If you, again, for a lot of you, I think it's too basic, but I'll send it out just the same for those who may want to use it. I'll go ahead and send out that profit center sample. It's very complex, but some of you may garner some value out of it. And I'm going to offer you an hour of my time. So if you want to talk over a specific situation, you want to send me your financials and say, hey, what do you think about this? I'll be happy to do that as well.
Awesome.
All right?
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Yay.
All
All right, rapid recall. Tell me what you, one of the main points you got from the presentation this morning. Who'd like to start?
Okay.
You go?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the value builder tool is really useful for an operator like I am,
Mhm.
because I really measured on income, and I don't know, that's not the entire equation.
Right.
It shouldn't really just be bottom line. So I'm working on a lot of the other initiatives of diversification and spreading the knowledge base out and things like that, and that would be interesting. Just my metric being value versus income is probably a better measure.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in using that.
Perfect.
Cool. John?
I like the structure around the financial meeting once a month. I also like the concept of, and I just sort of added on to this, defining the ideal client, which we kind of all know what the ideal client is, but I would like to define it, and then rank our customers A, B, C, and D, and then set up a pricing matrix for how we are going to price jobs based on size and where the customers fall in terms of their whatever, and that's something we need to do. So,
Great.
I think the value builder tool would be a really great asset for my company. allows you to analyze work spent time, where you get the most return on, you know. One of the things that's clearly in our company, we're growing so fast, that's really a nice problem, but it's still a problem. Because we've not, in EOS, one of the quarterly rocks last quarter
Yeah.
was to develop key processes for the company. But because and that's a huge value, right, for someone who
Yeah.
wants to buy us. None of us are looking to sell right now, but, we haven't been able to get to that. And I think if we looked at truly how important that is for EBITDA and building multiples for a company, I think it might cause us to change some priorities.
Yeah, you could build a financial case for that.
Cool.
I'd say building in value and balance sheet goals into our strategic planning alongside revenue and profitability. That'll be interesting.
Andy, you have a very different perspective on this. What was a takeaway for you?
Well, I know.
Yeah.
I think it relates to all the things that my clients are dealing with. And it's
Yeah.
a good tool.
Andy's an M&A attorney.
Hmm.
Okay.
I thought it was a good overall presentation. I think a lot of basic things that people could take away and think a little differently about how they're managing their business.
Bill?
Value builder tool is interesting, just to know that there's something like that out there.
Cool. Yeah.
I just like to hear a different way of explaining things instead of bank speak that I do. So you do it in a, you know, a good way to relate to.
Thank you.
I agree with value builder, it is a very esoteric topic, and at least that's a way to start to try and quantify
Yes.
the effectiveness of business.
Cool. Adam?
Yeah, I liked how that together a little bit from every level. Part of the topic was very helpful.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
All right.
and I appreciate
All
it.
right, really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you, Martin.
All right,
Thank you.
yes, thank you for coming. And we'll take about a 5-minute break and come back, begin our executive session.
Or are we doing for lunch?